main character in my book is a detective in his mid-40s. He is a quite normal guy, I would say, but he carries into this story a personal tragedy which will play a certain role as the story unfolds. The case he's confronted with is what seems to be a brutal murder of a Norwegian tycoon who has settled down in the south of France. After some time, 2 more people are killed, and the police discovers that there has been injustice done to a group of French people in a small town in the midst of France more than 70 years ago. So somebody is out to settle the scores, and the hunt for this somebody is what gives progress to the story, hopefully. Well, I guess I was kind of tired of the fact that serial killers tended to pop up in small Scandinavian towns and villages. It didn't seem very believable in a way. So I decided that I wanted to give my man a slightly bigger canvas to work on. So I decided to do a fictional thing from Europol's side, based on the fact that quite a few people, also Norwegians, are killed outside their own country. So my main character, Bogard Bull, is to be part of a unit within Europol which travels to whatever country necessary to assist local criminal police in the investigation. Oh, not really. But I think it's difficult to write a series of books about a person, about a main character, without some of your own personal character sort of smitten on to, in this case, Bull. So, for example, he's scared of heights. I'm also scared of heights. I can stand on a chair, but not mountain climbing is not my thing. So, no, he's very different from me, and most of his qualities are probably slightly better than mine. I find it easier than it might seem to be. I tend to try to write every time level in one successive go, so to say. Not in one day, of course, but I try to do one time level, finish that, and then write another time level, which seems to be a good way to do it, because then you can edit the whole thing afterwards. So to me it functions. No, not really. During my time in advertising, I spent 16 or 17 consecutive years in Cannes at the Advertising Film Festival. And I have a good Swedish friend in Provence, who, by the way, helped me researching this book, Kreuzschnitt. But apart from that, I'm more attached to Spain and the island of Mallorca, where I live. I guess I do research much the same way as other writers do. I travel to the cities or the districts in question for this or for any story. I trot around, I take a lot of pictures. Through my contacts, I try to get in touch with somebody high up, preferably in the criminal police, in the local criminal police. I interview them, ask them questions about everything from weapons to the ranks within the unit they are working. I trot around, I make notes. I think most writers do it more or less the same way. This time, for Kreuzschnitt, it's a very difficult word in German, Kreuzschnitt. I went to the south of France, obviously. For the next one, I spent time in Belfast. And in September this year, I go to Amsterdam. I've always been a great admirer of the painter Edvard Munch. Regardless, I guess, of the fact that he's Norwegian. His paintings just seem to affect me to a large degree. So it actually all started in Kreuzschnitt, it actually all started with Munch. And then from that point, the story just grew. And I will treasure Munch's work for the rest of my life. He was a genius. I've been reading crime fiction since I was a teenager. In many ways, crime fiction is fairy tale for grown-ups. It has a motor, it has an element of life and death. There's something at stake. These things make the story go forward and makes the reader pay attention, wondering what is going to happen now. So if you write a book, or if you want to write a book, you should write a book in a genre that you would like to read yourself, and preferably a book which you would like to read, or a story which you would like to read yourself. I think that's a good way to go. In a way, yes, I think it has. In advertising, you have to be extremely effective in your storytelling due to the fact that airtime is expensive. And I think I brought some of that effectiveness into my writing, which means that my books are basically 300 pages plus. Maybe in the hands of a different writer it would be 350 or 400, I don't know. But the need to keep up the speed in the story is there, absolutely. Like most writers, I'm not too fond of talking about things I haven't written. But I have a master plan for 6 books about this detective. So we will just have to see what the future brings.